Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes of Yisrael and to the believing Gentiles. I am Brother Mark, and I bid you a Shabbat Shalom on this holy Shabbat day, and I pray that you are receiving the rest necessary to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. There's been a lot going on in this country over the last week or two. There's a lot of destruction and calamity that I pray that all those that are believers in YAHOWAH HaMashiach, that are Gentiles, I pray that you stay away from these matters. I pray that you stay set apart and holy during these times, and to allow the heathen to fight amongst themselves for what is theirs. We have no ownership stake in this world. We have no ownership stake in this country, and I pray that you stay Qadesh, holy and separate from the chaos that is engulfing this country. Neither turn to the left or the right, neither turn to conservative or liberal as the answer to your problems. So today, family, I'm reading out of the Lost Acts of the Holy Apostles, and I'm reading about the Gentiles receiving the gospel of Elohim in the first century. And now the Lost Acts of the Holy Apostles expands on the book of Acts and the works of the apostles to spread the word of YAHOWAH HaMashiach across the globe. Today, we're specifically going to look at the apostle Bartholomew and his experience sharing the gospel of Elohim with Gentiles in Romania. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different things and the different ways in which the Most High awakens us, because it's not really one thing he does. There's a series of things that take place over a period of time that allow us to come into the knowledge of the Most High and his only begotten Son, YAHOWAH. So we're going to look and we're going to dive deep into that, and we're going to see if that experience in the first century by these Gentiles mirrors or represents our awakening in these last days and times. Before we go on, though, let's give honor and glory to the Most High by saying Tefillah Yeho, which is the Lord's Prayer, and it can be found in Matthew, the 6th chapter, 9 through 13. Today, we're going to read out of Lost Acts of the Holy Apostles. And as with all Khai YASHUA Press books, the Tefillah Yehovah is in the front for your edification and for your spiritual growth. So let's say Tefillah Yehovah, which is the Lord's Prayer. Avinu, Sheba Shemayim, Yikwada Shemeka, Taba Malkuteka, Yeyase Rasonka, Keyashir, Keba Shemayim, Gamba Aris, Te Lanu Ed Lechem, Zarkenu Hayom, Umakal Lanu, Ed Kovotenu, Kamoshe Gam, Anaknu, Makaunu, Lehayavenu Altavienu, Lede Nisayon, Eli Hatsalenu Mehara, Kishoka Hi, Hamalku, Wahagavora, Wahatafeda, Leome, Olamim, Bashem YAHOWAH, Hallelujah. So as I said, family, today we are going to look at the Lost Acts of the Holy Apostles. And just a recap, if we look at the table of contents, what we're seeing in this book is a lot of the works of who? The apostles to YAHOWAH HaMashiach. We have John, we have Bartholomew, we have Andrew, we have Kepha, we have James, we have Philip. Like, this is an account and a testimony of the apostles preaching the word to the Gentiles. See, we got the Acts of St. Thomas in India. Okay? For the sake of today's lesson, what are we going to be looking at? We are going to be looking at the martyrdom of Bartholomew. And within this martyrdom, this account of his martyrdom, he goes and spreads the word unto Gentiles in what is believed to be Romania. So let's go ahead and just turn to it, and let's go ahead and get started and dive in and see how the Most High reveals the truth unto Gentiles, and see if it parallels in any way to our experience today. So we are at the martyrdom of Bartholomew in Nadas, which is believed to be Romania. And now if there are any subject matter experts or historians that are listening at this time, feel free to send me an email at goyamradio@gmail.com, or leave a comment if you have a difference in understanding of what Gentile nation this may be. But my research shows that it is in Romania. So chapter 1, the doctrine of St. Bartholomew. Verse 1, And it came to pass that when Bartholomew, son of Talmai, had journeyed to Nazmaphin and Neendas, which were two great cities built upon the seashore, he found the people thereof had no knowledge of Elohim. So the first thing Bartholomew runs into is that you have no knowledge of Elohim. Family, think about your awakening to the Most High. How much true understanding did you have of the gospel? How much understanding did you have of the Torah, of the history of Israel, of what the prophets actually meant, what Revelations was trying to reveal to us? We had no knowledge. The knowledge had to be given to us by whom? Not just the Most High, but who is the Most High and Yahoshua's servant? It is the Apostle Bartholomew, whom is from Israel. So Gentiles, I'm pretty certain that we are all going to be awakened by the children of Israel. For me, I learned this truth from Israel. So as a Gentile teaching you this word today, my knowledge of the oracles of Elohim comes from the Yehudim. These are not things that I have conjured up on my own. These are teachings that I've learned, that I've studied, that I've tested the Spirit on, and that have proven to be true. But as other Gentiles in the first century, I had no knowledge of Elohim, and I had to learn whom he was and what his way represented. So it says, therefore had no knowledge of Elohim Almighty, and that they were like sheep which had lost themselves through the greatness of their foolish simplicities. So just like the first century heathen, who when they learn about the Most High Yah, I was a sheep. I was a sheep of this world. I was a sheep to America. I believed in Christmas. I believed in Thanksgiving. I believed in all the foolishness of this world, all the capitalist notions and the way of life here in America. That is what we knew, and that is what we believed in to varying degrees. But we believed it. And those are the foolish simplicities, the distractions, the entertainment, the movies, the football, the UFC fighting. These are all distractions and foolish simplicities, because like sheep, you just follow along right behind it. Whether it's entertainment, whether it's the politicians of this government, Gentiles, we are caught up in foolish simplicity. We had no knowledge of Elohim, and we were immersed in foolish simplicities. Let's look at the next one. Verse 2. And when Bartholomew, the blessed apostle, had come to them, he preached unto them the gospel of Elohim. So just like the first century Gentiles, I too had the gospel of Elohim preached to me by the Yehudim. Verse 3. And when he had entered into the city, he preached unto those who were therein, saying, Hearken, O ye who dwell in the city. Family, the first thing we have to do as Gentiles is we have to hearken unto the word of Elohim. The very first thing is we have to hearken means pay attention. It means listen. And for those of us that are Gentiles in this country, we have had a history of a problem listening to our Yehudim brothers and sisters, to our Israelite brothers and sisters. We do not listen. We barely listen to other Gentiles. So the first test, the first hurdle to get over as a Gentile is, can you hearken? Can you hearken to the gospel of Elohim? Can you hear it? Verse 4. Blessed are the poor of Ruach, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So as you see, there's an annotation here. There's a precept. Matthew 5 and verse 3. This comes straight out of the Sermon on the Mount that Yahushua HaMashiach gave to his apostles. So as we see here, the apostle Bartholomew is preaching the gospel, preaching the doctrine of Yahushua. He's not come in his own words. So that is something you should pay attention to if you're advising somebody who is beginning to hearken and to learn this truth. that they should discern, is the Yehudim, is Israel coming in their own doctrine, or are they coming into the doctrine of Yahushua HaMashiach? Because Bartholomew is reciting the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach. For those that are poor in Ruach are humble. And many of us as Gentiles are not humble. We are prideful. We are arrogant, and that we believe that in our own greatness. And that greatness is also what? Foolish simplicities. So we must come to the Most High Yah in poor in the spirit, which means humble, which means lowly, which means appreciative of the things that are being done for us and to protect us or to provide for us. We have to be poor in Ruach. Verse 5, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Family, whom in this country are the least merciful people? Whom in this country dole out the least amount of mercy, despite when they are called on their hypocrisy and their direct conflicts in the things that they are saying? Whom still lacks mercy in their heart? It's the heathen. Verse 6, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Elohim. Why would you want to be a peacemaker? You want to be a peacemaker. The reason you want to be a peacemaker is that a peacemaker is somebody who resolves differences between brothers or foes, whom is a mediator or a counselor. Now, if you have not been in this truth long enough to understand that Yahoshua is our mediator before the Most High, he will counsel on our behalf before the Most High. So if you are a peacemaker, that means you are coming in the spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach. That is to reconcile and to mediate differences and bring people together. Verse 7, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Family, this country and this world that we live in does not hunger and thirst after righteousness. We saw the events that unfolded in this country this week. And there's a complete hypocritical reaction to those heathens that committed these acts versus those of our Israelite brothers and sisters who have protested or who have peacefully assembled, yet they were still demonized for their efforts to bring attention to the plight of the Israelite brother and sister. Family, that is why we cannot be out there with these heathens, even if we oppose them. Even if we oppose them, because we have to hunger and thirst after righteousness. They have not hearkened to YAHOWAH. They have not even begun the process. So these are people that we don't even need to be involved with. But who we need to be involved with is those that hunger and thirst after righteousness. Those that hunger and thirst after doing what's right. Who wants moral resolutions to issues, who doesn't want to just sweep things under the rug, who wants to handle things according to the Torah, who just simply wants right to be right and wrong to be wrong, and not have people advocating and actively supporting and defending evil. We want to stand and hunger and thirst after righteousness' sake. We want to have nothing to do with the evils of this world.